This is the PowerPoint that was shown to the seniors in their English classes by the Woodbury High School counselors. We like to meet with the students early in the year to make sure they know who their counselors are. We do divide by alphabet, and there are 5 counselors. We're also fortunate to have 2 clerical staff in our office. Ms. Breyer is the counseling secretary. Ms. Banholtz is the career secretary. Both of them can make appointments for students. We also want students to know that we do have a website for our Counseling and Career Center website. You link to that through the main Woodbury High School website. There's a lot of information that parents and students can find on that website. We put information up about testing, the ACT, SAT, AP testing, etc. We also put the schedule of the college rep visits on there. We really strongly encourage students to check that schedule and to meet with colleges that they're interested in when they come to Woodbury High School to meet students. In order to do that, all they need to do is stop in our office and sign up on the list for the college, and then our career secretary will send them a pass on the day that the college comes to our school. We put college fair information on our website. We put information about financial aid and scholarships, including information when we're going to have, for example, in September, we had a senior parent night, which focused a bit on financial aid. So we post that kind of information there as well. And then we have links to both MCIS and Naviance, which are both programs that students can use to do college searching. They can do college planning. They can look at majors. They can look at financial aid. They can do some interest inventories, those types of things. Both of those websites are there with links as well. Again, we're meeting with students early in the year because this is really when they are finalizing decisions about what they're going to be doing after they graduate from Woodbury High School. There are many different things that our students choose to do, and this PowerPoint talks about these things. Many of our students choose to go on to college, and when we talk about college, we talk about vocational technical schools, we talk about 2-year schools, and we talk about 4-year schools. So we do mean all of those things when we use the word college. Some of our students go on to the military, and some of our students do look at apprenticeships or full-time work, and some students consider a combination. You will find that this PowerPoint focuses for the most part, on college, because that is what most Woodbury High School students do after they leave high school. So if there's something that you feel that your student or you need more information on, please make sure that you contact your student's counselor. We like to show this slide to students. There are many reasons to continue your education after you leave high school, but this is one that we want to make sure we show to students that going on to school after you leave high school really is an investment in your future. And we show them this graph looking at average yearly salaries starting with a high school dropout, so someone who doesn't finish their high school diploma, to a high school graduate, to an associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, the bachelor's degree, which is a 4-year degree, the master's, which is then beyond the bachelor's degree, a professional degree, which would include things like a medical degree, medical doctor, or a lawyer, a law degree, and then the PhD, which is the doctorate degree. And we tell students to look at the difference between someone who just graduates high school and doesn't go on for any more schooling to someone who gets a 4-year degree. And that's a big difference in salary. And that's just looking at 1 year. So it really is a smart investment to go on to school after high school. So we focus on each of the different schools to give students more information. First, looking at vocational and technical schools where there's no ACT needed to apply. These schools provide education for employment, looking at specific knowledge and skills that lead to particular jobs. They offer programs sometimes as short as 3 months where you can get a certificate all the way up to 2 years. Some examples of this would be the Aveda Institute or Dunwoody. 2-year colleges, again, there is no ACT needed to apply. You take the placement exams at the college, which is called an AccuPlacer, and they are testing you in math and reading and writing. Sometimes students say, I know I'm going to a 2-year college, so this class isn't as important to me or something like that. And we always tell students that that's absolutely not true, because you want to do as well as possible on those placement exams so that you have access to college level classes when you get to the 2-year school. Some advantages of the 2-year schools include a smaller class size. So if your student is someone who does better in a smaller class, that's a great choice. It does tend to be less money per credit, so it's a less expensive way to take those first 2 years of school. And there's the ability to transfer to a 4-year college. So students can take 2 years at a 2-year school like Century College or Inver Hills, and they have what's called a transfer curriculum. So if students meet with an advisor at that 2-year college and choose classes off the right list, those classes will transfer on then to 4-year colleges in Minnesota. And students can, it's 2 years at the 2-year school and then 2 years at a 4-year school. They don't have to complete another 4 years. So they're still in college a total of 4 years, and their degree comes from the 4-year college where they finish. They just started their first 2 years at the 2-year college. 4-year college, these are the minimum entrance requirements in grades 9 through 12. And again, we always like to highlight the word minimum because there are schools that want to see more than this. They're looking for 4 years of English, and again, that's 9 through 12, 3 years of social studies, 3 years of math through Algebra 2, 2 to 3 years of the same single world language, 1 year of fine arts, 3 years of lab science. For most students, that's physical science, biology, and chemistry. We do really strongly encourage students to check each individual college's requirements because some schools require a 4th year of math and also physics. And in some colleges, it varies depending on which major you're looking for. They may have higher requirements based on the different majors. So it's really important that students are researching that before they're sending off their applications. We get asked a lot, what do the 4-year colleges look for? They look for grades in college prep courses. They look at admissions test scores. They look at GPA and how you rank in your class based on your GPA. They look at the difficulty of high school courses. If they require an essay, that's important. If they require recommendations, that's also important. And they're looking at students that can advocate for themselves, that can pick up the phone and ask questions, or that will meet with the college reps when they come. So that self-advocacy piece can be important too. It is important to note that this can vary based on the selectivity of the college. Those that have more open admissions are going to look more at your GPA and your test scores. Schools that are going to be a little bit more selective, that are harder to get accepted at, those schools tend to look more at the difficulty of your courses, your essay, your recommendation, and those other types of things. So for the college application process, to request an official transcript, students need to go to the Woodbury High School website and click on transcripts. That's going to take them to a site called parchment.com. And the first time students go to this site, they need to click on the link that says sign up to create a login account. And then once that's done, every time they log on, they can go ahead and order their transcripts, and the transcripts are sent to the college electronically. We tell students to choose 4 to 6 schools and to be sure to apply early. We want students to have schools in each of these categories. The first is safety schools. So this is a school that the student likes and that they know that they will get into for sure. For some students, that's a 2-year college like Century and Inver Hills, which I mentioned a little bit ago. What you need to apply there is your high school diploma. So for some schools, that's a safety school. For some students, that's a safety school. For some students, a safety school is a state school. For some students, a safety school is the U of M or some of the private colleges. It really just depends. Students need to know their own information, so they need to be familiar with what their GPA is, where they rank in their class. They need to know their ACT or SAT score so that they can research which schools will be safety schools for them. There are also, we ask students to look at schools which are in the good match school category. So these are schools that also that the student would be happy attending. They have a good chance of getting in. It's not for sure, but they have a good chance of getting in, and it would be a good fit for them. And then we also encourage students to look at at least one reach school. So maybe they want an ACT score that's a little bit higher than what the student has, or maybe they want a class rank that's a little bit better than where the student ranks. But we definitely encourage students to include at least one of those schools on their list, because oftentimes those are schools that are going to also look at your essay and your recommendation and your volunteer history and athletics, those types of things. And they may see something in the student and they may get accepted even though it looks like it might be a little bit of a stretch. We do have students that get accepted to those reach schools. We do caution students, however, not to apply only to reach schools, because sometimes students only apply to reach schools, and if they're not accepted at any of them, then that's a difficult situation to be in when you have to scramble then to find some schools in the other categories.
Here's the college application process. First of all, a student needs to complete the application online. Probably 95% of applications are done online. They need to order the transcript from parchment.com. They need to order test scores directly from ACT or SAT, unless you already had them sent when you took the ACT or SAT. If online, you download the counselor page, sometimes called a secondary school report, and you bring that into the counselor to have them complete and fill out. There's also another counselor page that they need to bring into the counseling office, and we need 2 weeks to complete it. We will mail this directly to the college. Teacher recommendations. Some applications need teacher recommendations. It is good for the student to check that out on the college's website to see if they need a teacher recommendation or not. If they do, they need to ask now for the recommendation. It must be requested at least 2 weeks before the application deadline. They need to give the teacher an autobiography form, and they'll find that they received one in the advisory, or it also can be online at the Counseling and Career website. This is a form that allows us to get to know the student a little bit better. Then you give the teacher an address stamped envelope, and he or she should mail the recommendation directly to the college. Don't wait until the last minute. The counselor recommendation secondary school report. This is the one I talked about previously. Be sure you bring that in the counseling office at least 2 weeks before the deadline. You need to also give your counselor an autobiography form. If you've never met your counselor, this is a good time to make an appointment because we are writing recommendations and we need to know more about you, so bring the autobiography form with you when you have your appointment. We will mail the recommendation and school report directly to the college from the counseling office. Application tips. There's several examples listed of applications you can view. Some are just fill in the blank. Not much is required, like University of Minnesota Twin Cities and the state college system. It does not require a recommendation. It does not require a recommendation from a counselor or a teacher. We encourage you to fight the urge to procrastinate. It's really easy to say you'll do it next week or the next week, and before you know it, the deadline is here. Remember that your behavior matters. Senior year, you've got teachers writing for you, and so you need to have the best recommendations you can. Make sure you have an appropriate email address that you want college admissions counselors to see, and remember to follow directions. You need to sign it. You need to have the date correct. Please be neat, complete, and on time. Financial aid, this becomes an important part of your application process. We do have a financial aid night in January, and at that time we'll be talking about the FAFSA as well. We had a senior parent night September 20th. Part of that was talking about financial aid. As you see, our next one is January 19th at 6:30. We'll be talking about the FAFSA at that time and all forms of financial aid. Senior advisories also talked about financial aid. College Goal Sunday. This is a great opportunity in February for you to go to a site and get direct help from a financial aid person. The dates are to be determined, so look at that website, and they post them as they're made known. Probably the best person that you need to get to meet is a financial aid staff at the college and university that you think you will attend. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you find the financial aid you need to go to their institution. Scholarships. This again is very important that you apply for scholarships from the colleges you will be attending. 90% of all scholarships come from the college that admits you. So make sure you know what scholarships are available, and you only get to know that by contacting the financial aid office. We have a Woodbury High School Scholarship Bulletin. Comes out once a month. The first one was just printed. On that we have different local and national scholarships. We have the websites where you can apply. Applying for scholarships takes time and effort. Watch the deadlines. You have to meet them. Please beware of scholarship search firms. Financial aid information is free. You don't need to pay someone to search scholarship sites for you. That's something that's very easy to do. All it does is take time. You certainly don't need to invest in someone else doing that. And remember, completing the FAFSA is free. If someone asks for your credit card to complete that with you, then you're not at the government site. The other thing about scholarships is make sure that you don't apply for any scholarship that asks you for your social security number. That is probably not a safe site. Other options beyond school, colleges, that our students decide to do after graduation. One of it is the military. We had the ASVAB offered in February, which is the vocational battery test that the military gives. It also gives you useful career planning information. And we also wanted to say, if called and you don't want and you're not interested in becoming part of the military, that you need to tell them yourself. Don't put anybody else on the line. Another option that some of our students take after graduation is full-time work or apprenticeship. Those are skills that they can develop now. Obviously, an apprenticeship is when you shadow another person and the work that they do. Examples of that is construction, electric, plumbing, and heating. Senior year. Probably the most important thing that seniors need to remember is that it really does matter. College admissions people are looking at senior year grades, senior year classes, senior year behavior. So don't miss out on opportunities by not taking your senior year seriously. Last but not least, please remember, apply to college early. That way you can check with the college to make sure that they received all the documents that they need in order to have your application complete. You need to order your transcripts from parchment.com. You need to send your ACT, SAT scores directly from the testing agency, not from high school, and sign your applications. We want you to have a great senior year. Remember, the counselors are here to help you, so please make an appointment if you need to see us. Thank you.